If you've ever felt discouraged by your MS symptoms or frustrated by therapy or exercise routines that just didn't work, you are going to love this episode. Today, I'm joined by Tracy, a member of the MSing Link and one of the most hopeful, determined people I've had the joy of working with. Tracy has primary progressive MS and was misdiagnosed for years. By the time she found our community, she had already gone through multiple rounds of physical therapy with little to no improvement. She was walking with a rollator, dealing with foot drop, and had almost given up hope on feeling strong or steady again. But then everything changed. In our conversation, Tracy opens up about how she rediscovered her confidence, built real strength, and started living more fully. From walking on uneven ground again to driving on the highway to taking out the trash without fear. Her story is honest, emotional, and so inspiring. You'll hear exactly what she did step by step and walk away reminded that you are never stuck and there is always something you can do to move forward. Let's dive in. Tracy, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Dr. Gretchen, thank you. I'm so excited.
I am too. And we were just talking a bit before I pressed record, and we've had this scheduled for over a month. And because I know Tracy's story and what you're about to hear, I've been so excited to record this and share it with everyone. So I'm excited to dive in. And I've got a bunch of questions for you so we can help those with MS that are listening understand what might be possible for them too. But before we do that, can you kind of paint the picture for us of how your MS has affected you and what type of MS do you have?
Okay, well, I have PPMS, primary progressive MS, and I was diagnosed in 2021. And what led up to that was originally it was all thought to be just a pinched nerve in my back with my
Mm,
walking difficulties and having to hang on to my husband to walk because with the swinging out of my leg and just the intermittent numbness. And it just came out that more got into it and I got tested and was diagnosed with the MS, and it wasn't a pinched nerve. And just the inability to walk correctly, having to hang on to someone, the balance issues were
mm.
just. It was almost like every step was like stepping on a marshmallow, where you like sunk in and just felt like you had to grab. It was
Yeah.
the strangest thing.
So were you using a mobility aid at that time?
My
Or
husband,
just,
my
yeah, yeah.
husband, my husband,
Right.
anytime
When
walking.
when you were walking around your home, were you touching furniture or walls for safety?
Yes, I was
Okay.
surfing on everything.
And just because I'm curious, so how long had passed between your first symptoms and the misdiagnosis and when you were officially diagnosed with MS?
It was probably almost 3 years
Oh,
of
okay.
it where it started very minimally with
Mm-hmm.
I would be walking and then I would feel like a twinge in my right leg would kick out, would hitch out to the side and hop forward, but then it would go away. And everything it just thought, okay, my back was just giving me a hard time. And then just going through everything and I had other medical issues in 2020. And a year after that, they said, everything is perfect. Now you can deal with your back and get everything fixed. It's going to be perfect. And went to the neurologist and started the journey with a neurologist. So we're down here in Florida now. And I was in New York prior.
Mm.
And they did their testing and said, it's not a pinched nerve. You have multiple sclerosis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Geez.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And then how shortly after that did you find me? And we'll get into the specific things that you worked with, but how far apart was that?
Honestly, almost 2.5 years.
In that time, had you gone to physical therapy for MS, for your walking, or tried exercise programs or anything? Had you worked on your walking or strength at all in that time?
Yes, I did multiple rounds of physical therapy and just nothing was working. And then I had gone to a cane, left my husband out, and got to got to a cane, and was walking with the cane, and then that got even more difficult. And then started using a rollator walker in
Mm-hmm.
places, and just for the balance and the stability and the fear of falling, the fear of
Yeah.
falling.
Absolutely. That's something that a lot of people don't talk about, but it plays just as much of a role as your actual balance or strength.
Right. I had had a couple of falls, and the
Mhm.
first couple were when we still lived in New York when I was working. And I was like, well, you're just walking silly. Pay attention. And then when we moved to Florida, there was a couple of near miss fallings, like tripping. And there was
Mm,
nothing that I should have been tripping on. It did made no sense.
right.
And then when the diagnosis came, I had I didn't get hurt or anything, thank goodness, but caught my foot on transition from a cement floor to a carpet, and
Oof.
down I went, and I was like, okay, well, this is not fun.
Right, right. So the first time that you and I got to work together was in my free 5-day challenge. And actually, at
Yes,
this point, you and I had never talked yet
never.
because it's an online program that anyone can access. So, can you tell me why you signed up for it? Because it sounds like you didn't have success in the past with other physical therapists. So, why did you decide to sign up and what was your experience like in that 5-day challenge?
Well, the reason I decided to sign up was I had been thinking that all the physical therapy didn't work, and then I actually saw some of your free content, believe it or not, on Facebook,
Mm,
and was like, I need to investigate this more. And I started to, and then saw the free 5-day, you know, challenge. I was like, I got to try this. And I did. And the hope was given to me that I had totally lost, totally lost. And the main thing in that 5-day challenge was, what is your why? And write it down. The significance of writing it down made everything so real and gave just the increase of hope that I might be able to turn this around a little.
I love that so much. If you don't feel comfortable sharing, you don't have to. But do you remember what your why was that you wrote down?
To be able to walk places with my husband more,
Hmm.
and to be able to go into new places, because common places I felt comfortable with were okay. This I can do this. I didn't have the fear of falling or not knowing where everything was in common places. But to be able to go to a new place and not be concerned if it was a tile floor or a laminate floor or a carpeted floor, that
Mm.
I could go in there and walk in there without issue. And that
Yeah.
was my probably one of my biggest whys, was not to have the fear.
That is a perfect example because one thing that we talk about in that lesson is the more specific, the better. And so to have those specific examples, not just, I want to walk better, I want to trip less, but those specific situations. So you aced that. It was at this time when you're in that 5-day challenge, a part of the challenge is you can leave comments at the end of each day to let us know, let myself and the other participants know. We call it like a homework assignment, your biggest takeaways or what exercises you're going to try and whatnot. And it was at that point that you came on my radar because you were commenting those and already feeling that more of that hope. And then at that
Yes.
point, that is when you signed up for the total strength program. So, can you share more about your experience there?
The total strength program, I spoke to my husband and said, I really want to try this. He said, do it. He said, absolutely, give it a shot. And after the first set of exercises, and I go back to them on a regular basis, as well as the missing link, but I go
Mhm.
back to it after the first set of exercises, and I don't know if it's just me, there was a noticeable difference in my walk. Like, in the little bit of the walking ability and the little bit of strength, but the confidence that something made a difference. And my
Yes.
husband saw it. He said,
Wow.
you've got it. Keep going,
I
and
love it.
it was incredible. It, it was pretty impressive.
Absolutely. And after experiencing physical therapy in the past that didn't work, it can be hard to even just build up that hope and optimism again.
Right,
And then to try something and have it work. And in your case, so quickly,
right.
that's huge.
It really was. And it did it the first few, maybe the first, little while after doing the first exercise, I noticed such an improvement. And I needed to rest then because, of course,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I can really do this. Let's, run with scissors. And you can't do that anymore.
Right, right. Let me actually back up for a second, too. So, for those that don't know, the free 5-day MS Strength Challenge focuses more on the principles of how to exercise differently because you have MS. And as Tracy mentioned, just that alone can provide a lot of hope that this is different. When you have MS, exercise needs to be done differently in order to make an effect. It can't be the same as orthopedic physical therapy or traditional exercise. So it's a lot of that education behind how to exercise. And there is one full exercise class in there for you. But then the Total Strength program is a program that teaches you how to create your own full exercise routine based on your symptoms and your goals. And as Tracy mentioned, it does come with 5 exercise classes that give you a starter as well as a sample exercise program. So that's what we're talking about when we say that Total Strength program. Okay, so you're in the 5-day challenge, you're feeling more hopeful, you do that total strength program, you notice those improvements after day 1, and your husband is noticing those
Yes.
too. How long did you keep going with the total strength program? And did you notice any progress throughout that time? Because you did eventually become a MSing Link member, which we'll talk about in a second. But what did your time in the total strength program look like?
The total time I did that program was 2.5 weeks before I signed up for the Missing Link. And that's, for me, that's all it took, because the
Yeah.
improvements and the confidence was just, it was remarkable. It was remarkable. For me, it really was. And when you do what you're told and follow it, it have to do the way you say to do things. And when you feel yourself not performing properly, you stop, like you said in the 5-day strength, every 5-day challenge. You need to,
Mhm.
when you're not feeling you're doing it right, stop, because you don't want your brain learning the bad way to do things.
Right.
And it was huge, and I had to do more. I had to do more.
I love that you're touching on the emotional side too, because a lot of the way that I talk about my courses and programs is that I can help you build strength and endurance and make daily activities feel easier. And it's very action based. But when you see improvements in those actions, it does hit home emotionally. You do feel that confidence, that hope. And I feel like that side of it isn't talked about enough overall, just in life.
Right. The It's the hope and the potential that
I love that.
was totally lost before. It's like nothing's going
Yeah.
to work. Okay, you're going to end up in a chair, and there's going to be nothing else. And yes, it can progress to that or whatever, but you give the hope that that doesn't have to be the end of your story. That
Mhm.
you can make workarounds for anything, for anything.
Right. Yeah. So, your next step after 2.5 weeks was joining my membership, the MSing Link.
Correct.
And my first question for you about this, you said you needed more. There's a lot that we offer inside the MSing Link. There's live exercise classes, there's guest speakers with MS experts, there's calendars that tell you what exercises to do each day. There's the community, which is a huge piece of it. What did you need more of? If you can remember back to that point, why did you feel like, oh, yes, I need this?
Because of the improvements I had so rapidly with starting it, and I wanted to go further. I wanted to
Mm,
see more and see what else was possible for
yeah.
me in this journey. And it's there is no end. I haven't even found probably a third of what is available on the MSing Link. I find
Yeah.
something new every day. Be it, it's crazy.
Do you remember when you first signed up for the MSing Link, what the first thing you did was? Like, were you just so excited to exercise that you found an exercise class, or did you print a calendar? Do you remember what the first thing was?
I have to admit, the first thing I did was I needed to get on to the introduction to use the MSing Link site
Mm,
because
yes.
I had no idea of how to get to everything and even
Yeah.
what to look for. And the doing that class was just insane to learn how to use the site. And once
Hmm.
that was done, I believe I used yours with you. You
Yeah.
gave the
Yep.
introduction to the
It
site.
was a group orientation that we
Yes.
offer every month for new members to learn how to
Mhm.
navigate the program.
Mhm. And then we were off to the races.
Right.
It was insane. It was insane.
Yes. Okay. So we've covered the 5-day challenge that was free. We've covered the total strength program. So now you're in the MSing Link. You learned how to use it through the group orientation. Let's start with how long have you now been a member for, and what types of improvements have you seen from following that program and being part of that community?
Okay, I've been a member now. I believe it is almost 5 months.
I believe
Almost
that's
five
right.
months. Yeah, almost
Hmm.
5 months. And the different muscle groups that has attacked, been attacked by my MS. And you have exercises for exactly what's bothering me or hindering me. And I found things in the program that I didn't almost know that were bothering me from the upper
Hmm.
body strength that I didn't realize had taken a bit of a hit on my right arm.
Right.
But doing your upper body workouts and things, I was like, well, I didn't know that this was an issue. And just like you don't know how good a massage feels until somebody rubs you.
Right.
It
Right.
was it was exactly that.
Wow. So I actually, right before we joined this call, I took a few screenshots of things that you had commented and posted about in our Facebook community. And I wanted to just touch on two of them. So the first one was Dr. Gretchen says, if you want to walk better on uneven surfaces, practice on uneven surfaces. Yesterday, I walked with my rollator approximately 120 yards on grass, loose dirt, sand, and cement without stopping and heel toe steps.
Yes.
That is amazing. When was the last time? So you're using your rollator. When was the last time you were able to walk confidently on all of those different types of surfaces?
Oh, I would have to say almost 5 or 6 years ago, believe it or not. 5 or
Wow.
6 years ago. With to
Yeah.
walk on it to just have at it, it had to have been 5 or 6 years ago.
Wow.
Before I even knew that MS was a problem.
Yeah. Wow. And we do talk about, as you just alluded to, there's something for everyone. There's something for every symptom. There is a lot in the program. So you can find something based on whatever goal you're working towards. Now, this reminded me because I just read the rollator part. So are you using a rollator 24/7? Or what are you walking with or not with? Indoors versus outdoors? What is your mobility look like now that you've been a member for about 5 months or so?
Okay. One after I had started the strength challenge, like I said, I was using a cane and the roll. I got rid of the cane and was doing the rollator. I went got rid of the rollator. I use in new places or where I might
Mm.
be a long time. I need to sit down. But now a lot of time I use trekking poles.
Ooh,
I
love
use
it.
trekking poles now, and the difference has been the balance to be able to have both hands instead of just one with a cane to
Hmm.
use the this the trekking poles. What an upgrade from the rollator. I still use the rollator going to
Yeah.
like long time. We're going to be a long time place. I don't know about seating. I'll take the rollator because I can sit. But the trekking poles, when we go out to any restaurants, or I now use the trekking poles when we go down to any of the parks for walking around by the water. I don't use the rollator when I'm,
Wow.
yeah, I use the trekking poles now.
So, to me, as a physical therapist, the fact that you're able to do that tells me that your strength has improved and your balance, that the combination of those two things has given you the strength and balance and confidence where you don't need to depend on a rollator in those situations.
Correct, correct.
Wow.
And the other added piece of this puzzle, and thanks to you, believe it or not, the cadence shoes.
Yes. I feel like this comes up frequently in our
It,
MSing Link community.
and it's been another game changer, another
Yeah.
game changer. Where okay, I'm going to go to a place that I know has multiple floorings and stay with my trekking poles because it's not going to be an issue because of my cadence sneakers.
Yeah. For those that don't know, and I can include a link in the show notes as well, but the Cadence sneakers, they're sneakers, but on the bottom, they have nylon pucks that allow your foot to slide. So normally, if you didn't have those and you have foot drop, you might notice, as Tracy said earlier, your foot kind of scuffing or tripping over your own foot. And the pucks allow you to slide through. Now, of course, as a physical therapist, I just have to say that there's exercises and strategies to improve, to lift your legs so that you don't scuff your foot, but that can take a while. And in the meantime, it can be helpful to have a tool that allows you to walk safely, even if you're having a phase where you are scuffing your foot on the ground. So that's what cadence can help with.
Right.
They also, as of right now, the nylon pucks are on the bottom of the shoe, but not the front. Meaning, if you are someone who walks and the literal tip of your toes is the part that's scuffing, as of right now, they wouldn't really help for that because there's not a puck right there. But they are going to be releasing soon I don't know what it's made out of, but something that like a sticker thing that you can put on the top of your foot, like
Really?
the very front. Yeah.
Okay.
So that even if you do land there, you can still safely slide. So
Because
that's kind
right,
of
the
cool.
cuffs are on the front, on the opposite, on the ball of the foot, just
Yep.
around, but the very tip, exactly, that can scuff.
Hmm.
But when I first started with your programs, I would get the foot drop and the scuffing, and it was very frightening because I was
Hmm.
just always getting ready to fall, and the hesitation was just horrendous.
Right.
But the strengthening of to ease up on that foot drop, that was insane. So I really was able to walk better with the exercises without getting the foot drop like I was getting. It
Mm.
was
So
incredible.
even if you weren't using the cadence shoes, your foot drop has improved.
Oh, incredible. And I only use the Cadence shoes when I'm going to like another place I don't know type thing.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
the foot drop has improved probably 30 to 40%.
Wow. That's huge. Oh my
Absolutely.
gosh.
Hmm.
Wow. So now I'm curious. Okay, so we've talked about strength improving, balance improving, foot drop improving, confidence improving. Can you give an example of any specific, like, daily situation that you've noticed has improved? Things like getting in or out of bed, getting dressed, getting the mail, just like these daily activities that we tend to do. Have you noticed improvements in those as well? And if so, which ones?
One of the biggest ones is taking the garbage to the end of the driveway.
Mm,
I was I never did it once I got the balance issues and everything. I was too afraid. But once the strength improved, I'm able to and I take my trekking poles and I put them on the handles of the garbage pail and I walk down the driveway and I make sure I concentrate and make sure I'm walking properly. And I hear
wow.
you. I hear you. And lift your like bend it behind you. Bend your bent knee up. Raise your toes up. Put your heel down. Put your toes down. And I hear you. As I do it, I
Mhm.
take the garbage down to the end of the driveway, and now I don't have the garbage pail to hang on to anymore. I have my trekking poles, and I walk right up the driveway, heel toe, and I never could do that before. And
Wow.
I can do it now. I can
Yeah.
do it. I can go to my neighbor's house and just go say hi, walk over to the neighbors with
Yeah.
because I'm not afraid of the foot drop and falling.
Hmm. Wow. So it's really opening up your life in lots of different ways. You're doing more. It sounds to me like you're not that you were isolating yourself before, but you're not isolating yourself in those specific situations as much because you can go to the end of the driveway, go over to your neighbors.
Right. Oh, and one thing I forgot, I apologize, driving. I
Mm,
used to only do, quick little driving to the store. But now I'm driving on the highway because I can raise my right foot. I can lift it up and move it to the brake without,
wow.
just putting my hand under my thigh to make sure that, just out of fear, to make sure I
Yeah.
do it. I don't have to do that anymore. My foot, I can go from
Wow.
the brake to the
Oh,
gas pedal. It's opened up a whole new world that I thought
wow.
was lost.
Yeah, I can feel my heart racing right now just because I feel so excited for you and like hearing all these improvements. The other screenshot that I mentioned that I wanted to point out because it's just so relatable, and this was actually just maybe 2 weeks or so ago. So you said, I have a confession. I haven't done a blasted thing for a week. I just finished the total strength knee day one exercises, which is, for those that don't know, it's one of the calendars that we have inside the MSing Link. If you're working towards strengthening your hips and knees, it tells you exactly what exercises to do each day. So you said you just finished day one of that. It felt great. And the difference in not doing anything to doing something is night and day. It
Yes.
really makes a difference, not only crazy physical improvement, but mentally.
Yes.
And I just wanted to share that too, because it's so relatable. Like we would all love to think that you joined the MSing Link and you just stayed on track and you did every single day. And that's why you're seeing these results. But we all go through times for whatever reason where we stop exercising. And
Right.
I love hearing that you did stop for a bit, but you're still seeing these improvements and you're still feeling that motivation.
Yes. I like to say life got in the way.
Yes.
Life got in the way, and for
Hmm.
a week, I really I didn't do any of my exercises, any of the program, and like I said, the knee strengthening. Never mind the fact that physically felt like I was able to move better, the
Hmm.
mental improvement of you did something and you're trying to make a difference. The mental improvement was insane from not doing anything to I did something.
Yeah. And then did you did that motivate you enough where you're like, okay, I'm back in it? And you started exercising every day since then? Or what has life looked like since then?
Yes, every since then I was like, okay, you need to stop you need to stop moping and
Hmm.
get back on the swing. And I've been doing that and then getting back into the calendar exercises in the MSing
Hmm.
Link for each day, doing those, going through those. And occasionally, what I'll do is I'll watch, which I found you do pool exercises where you were in the pool
Yes.
showing how to do the exercises.
Yep.
And I'll go to the pool and do the exercises. And yet you can think, okay, all I have to do is the same thing that you do without the pool, but without seeing it, you're not
Hmm.
quite sure. With you
Right.
being in that pool, I can do this. And now I know how to do it.
Yeah. It's
It's
like we're in the
just,
pool together, doing it
yes,
together.
yes. But seeing you do the exercise to be able to understand, okay, I know it's almost the same as on land, but now it's in the water. Okay,
Right.
I can do this. Now I know how.
Yes. Amazing. And that's one thing I really personally love about the program is that even though it's virtual, it does feel like we're together, whether it's me and you exercising or even the community. I like to say that I feel like the Facebook community that we have just feels like a big hug. It feels like we're an actual community. And like you're able to share your struggles, your wins when you didn't exercise. And I think let me see, there was a ton of comments on that one. Oh, I can't see it right now. There were a ton of comments of people
Yes.
saying, oh my gosh, me too. Like, I hear you. And they were thanking you for sharing that.
Yes, it was incredible. And then the I guess more or less a lot of the people gave permission to, you can by all means not do a blasted thing for an
Yes.
amount of time. Getting the permission. It,
Yeah.
it sounds strange, but someone said, that's okay. You are more than entitled to not do a blasted thing for that
Hmm.
time frame, but don't wallow in it.
Yeah. So powerful. So, a lot of people with MS either are currently in or have been in the same position that you mentioned you were in prior to even just starting the free 5-day MS Strength Challenge. If you could go back and give advice to that version of you with mobility limitations, constantly holding on to your husband, poor balance, foot drop, you name it. If you could go back and give that version of you advice, what would you say?
I would say that yes, it's in some cases physical therapy is wonderful, traditional physical therapy. But with having MS, it is not how you do it. It doesn't work. It doesn't
Mm,
give you any real improvement or hope that it can get better, is the biggest thing I can take away from the past trials with physical therapy. And there was a lot, and it was just very defeatist. It,
mhm.
nothing was working.
Right. And what would you say to others that might be in a similar position to you prior to starting all of this to know what might be possible for them?
I found that the inner ability to know you can make a difference, no matter how small, and just every little improvement, I don't care what the improvement is, celebrate every little win. From I couldn't raise my foot when I was standing, I couldn't raise my toes off the ground. I've got about 2.5 inches now that I can raise
Wow.
my foot, my right toes up, that I couldn't do for a couple of years just standing.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless, and you need to try, just try.
Mm,
And exactly what Dr. Gretchen says, you have to just try. And it doesn't have to be a a okay, I was able to do this movement. No, you tried and you felt like you tried. And feeling that try that you hadn't done in however long is the win. And you're like,
mm.
wow, I did feel something. I didn't do anything, but I felt what she was saying. It's huge. It's huge.
Oh, so powerful. I love that. Thank you so much for being vulnerable enough to share your story with us and your experience thus far. If anyone listening is like, "Well, I want to follow Tracy's plan. Like tell me exactly what she did." Then we will put the links for the free 5-day challenge, the total strength challenge, and the missing link in the show notes. So you can see exactly the steps that she took if you want to follow those as well. And because we talked about them, I'll also put the link for the Cadence sneakers. They are really cool if you haven't heard about them. So I will put that in the show notes as well. But Tracy, thank you again. I've been so excited for you to share your story because it's so relatable from where you started, but also now the progress that you're seeing. It gives so much hope. And the thing about the progress that you've seen is that we see a lot of this in the missing link. It's not like you're the only one,
Yes,
which I think is amazing because a lot of people can feel like, well, that's great for Tracy, but it's not going to happen for me. But results like this are common and it is possible for others as well.
absolutely. Just have to, even like I said, the smallest win is a win, and you've got
Yes.
to celebrate it. You've got to celebrate. It's a different world having MS now from what we knew before, but you've got to find a way to, okay, I'm going to live in this new world and I'm going to make it happen no matter what that is.
Yes. And I think that truly makes such a big difference because that celebration and that awareness I think is what can keep you motivated, especially on those harder days, or if life gets in the way. It's what can help you dive back in and not, as you said earlier, not kind of wallow in that low and
Yes,
stay there.
yes. And I was a paramedic in New York for 35 years
Mm,
on the ambulance.
wow.
And to go from, and 4 hours of Zumba a week and just all go, no quit, to wait a minute, I can't walk across the parking lot without
Yeah.
holding a hand or touching cars. To go from, it's a different world, but the world is still fantastic. Just, you have
Mhm.
to just, it's like learning a new world. And
Right.
I don't know how to explain it to people. Eh, I don't know how to say it because I know that people get it's very defeating. It's very depressing to go from everything to, okay, this is a brand new world. What do I do now? It,
Hmm.
you have to find the joy in that new world. I don't know. I guess maybe I've always been a happy, happy, joy person, but to find the new, okay, this is going to be the new normal. Let's have at it.
Right.
I don't know how to explain it to somebody. I don't know how
Yeah.
to explain it.
Well, and it's hard too because MS is so different for everyone.
Right.
And not only that, but each individual has their own personality. And, one might be more positive than the other, but still, I think you hit the nail on the head of a new normal
Right.
and acknowledging that and moving forward with it.
Right. It's not easy, but it is so doable. And the hope you give to do that, e- even if you're not seeing progress right away, the hope that this could work, is immeasurable.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Awesome. I feel like that's a perfect ending. Well, thank you again, Tracy. I really appreciate you being here with us and sharing your story.
Dr. Gretchen, thank you so much. And thank you for everything you do.
Oh my gosh, it's my honor.